Okay, so let's create the assembly of the robot car. We want to start a new assembly. Use default template. Okay. We want to change the unit to millimeters. So go to File, Prepare, Model Properties, Units, Change, millimeter Newton second, Set, Interpret, OK, Close, and Close. We want to first bring in the chassis. Go to Assemble and select the chassis. Okay. I put in the ES100 folder. Okay. And chassis. Open. The first piece, we want to fix that to the coordinate system. So let's select Fix and then select the coordinate system. We want to fix the chassis to the assembly coordinate system. And OK. For the second piece, I want to put the standoff. So let's rotate the chassis to match with this upside down configuration. Okay. Okay, we want to bring in the second piece. Okay, so we can go to Assemble and we want to select the standoff, M3x8 standoff. Open. We want to first move that to the closer to the hole. You can use this move to move the standoff to the closer to the location where we want to put that together. Okay, we want to go to placement, and first we want to select the axis. So we zoom in. And we want to select the axis of the standoff to match with the axis of this hole. Okay, so let's zoom in. Okay, pick the axis and we want to make that coincident. Okay, so constraint type is coincident. Okay, so let's see. And the next constraint, we add a new constraint. We want to constrain the bottom face of the standoff. Okay, need to zoom in furthermore. We want to select this face of the standoff to match with the bottom face of the chassis. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's the face. And we want to make that coincident. Okay, so now the computer tells us it's a 40 constraint. Okay, we want to duplicate this in a pattern. Okay, so we use, first we need to select this as a standoff, And then we use the pattern tool, and we want to use the directions. We want to pattern in 2 directions. And first direction, we want to select the axis in the Z direction. Okay, so we pick this direction, and then we say that the distance is equal to 30 millimeters. The hole-to-hole distance is 30 millimeters. And then we go to the second axis. Second axis is the X direction, and the X direction we want to the second axis. Okay, I've selected the wrong plane. Okay, so click here, and then we want to select the X direction. X direction is this direction, and we want to set the offset distance, the distance to be 24. And it's negative 24 because the positive direct, this is the positive direction. So we set that to negative 24. Okay, and then we press OK. So now the computer put the 3 additional standoffs, and this distance is 30 and that distance is 24. Now we want to put the caster. So we go to Assemble and select the caster wheel. Caster wheel is here. Okay, open, and we want to first rotate it 180 degree, and then we want to move it closer to the destination. Okay, we want to constrain this using several features, several axes. Okay, so go to placement, and we want to first constrain the axis. We want to constrain this axis of the hole of the caster with this axis of this standoff. Okay, so we pick this axis and make that coincident. And then the next constraint, we want to constrain another axis. So let's add a new constraint. We want to constrain this axis to another standoff. Let's zoom in. Constraint to this axis. Okay, and then the next constraint, we add a new constraint. We want to constrain that in the vertical direction. So we need to select rotate, and then select this face of the caster to match with the bottom of the chassis. No, the bottom of the, or the top of the standoff. Okay, so let's pick the top face of the the standoff, this face, and set the offset distance to be 0 or coincident. Okay, coincident.